What's going on, Jeromes? Happy Friday out there. Thanks for joining us, making us part of your day. And here to talk a little Vikes, a little bit of Q&A, a little bit of omelet ingredients. Sure, why not? And of course, yes, living in the Twin Cities area, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. But yeah, as you said, we try to keep this as apolitical as possible. Obviously, as a Twin Cities resident, I have thoughts on the situation, obviously, but it's really tried. Yeah. But again, like I said, we try to keep this as apolitical as possible. Respect your time. If you want information on that, opinions on that, there are much better, more informed places than here on a Jabroni Vikings YouTube channel, right? So just talking sports, sticking to that. There you go. Right, wrong, or otherwise, what we're going to do. All right, so we got Q&A as well as the Jeromes in the live chat Friday, just winning the day. I'm excited about the weekend. We got the in-laws coming in town. I actually like my in-laws, unlike a lot of people. Isn't that the old cliche, like the husbands always hate the mother-in-law? I love my mother-in-law. She's awesome. She's a rock star. The worst backseat driver in the history of mankind, though, but what can you do there? If that's the extent of it, we'll take that. So we got Q&A. Also, we put out to the Jeromes. Something we've been doing this off season is just food ingredients, just food talk, hot food talk coming right at you. So we put out there, what are the best omelet ingredients? So for me, I do love just a straight up Denver omelet. I mean, Denver omelet is really good. So you got, obviously got the eggs, or you got the cheddar cheese, you got the peppers, onions, and ham. It's a good combo. Throw some mushrooms in there. You're certainly going to win the day. But I have began to really appreciate like the classic original OG French omelet, where you're literally just taking eggs, some salt. You can add some herbs in there. I really like adding chives. And then you just take like an obscene amount of butter in a pan and then just coagulate those eggs together so that it's nice and soft in the middle, just like right on the edge of lightly browned on the outside, and just down it. Right, just something simple and classic, like a really well-made French omelet. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But like I said, cheese, ham, onions. Let's go. Let's get some. All right, so Evan Bajelica, 3 basics: cheese, ham, onions, peppers, and bacon. Oh, forgot about the bacon. A little bit of crunch, a little bit of texture in there. Maybe you have heard the speculations of NBA playoffs. How would you want them to proceed for the playoffs? I haven't really been keeping up what the NBA is going to do. I have suggested that in lieu of bringing back a full, truncated schedule, which I understand they're going to try and do to up the revenue. Plus, also they have TV contracts that they want to honor. But because we didn't get March Madness this year, do a 30-team bracket. So 2 teams will get buys. Have a full 30-team March Madness style bracket. One and done, sudden death bracket, and just see who wins. Because every single team will be in the tournament, and you could seed it by according to your record how the season ended. But how fun would that be? How great would that be? Just do it over 4 or 5 days, and just you could have it in one spot too. I don't care. No. Next up, Spencer Vox. Tobias, not Rama. Just going to ignore the fact that there's pure chaos going on in our state at the moment. Again, there, like we said, there are a lot better outlets that you can go to. And frankly, if you don't respect that fact, go somewhere else. Yeah. Spencer Vox, always have to get a bit of interest to sprinkle some Green Bay tears on my omelets. Ooh, tasty. Get your mug today. People watching this, not an ad. Love you, Andy. Yeah, get the mug down below. Green Bay tears. Yeah, friends at Teespring. There you go. Next up is Ethan Moon. An old Gordon Ramsay trick, fresh cut green onions in the egg mix. Fillings would be al dente, peppers, chorizo, cheddar cheese, and fried potatoes. It's a good combo. Yeah, and the more I get into omelets, the more I do like the infusion of some herbs, or like you said, green onions in there. Just really, really good. Next up, Mr. Popo. Someone said that with the riots going on, that the Vikings trophy case is safe. That gave me a small check. I guess you do have to laugh through it. Actually, there's a really good good meme that was going around. Her cousin's jersey meme. And, gosh, let me find it. NFL. All right, so this one obviously making light of the situation, but what can you do? Shocking. Minneapolis rioters loot store, take everything except for Kirk Cousins jerseys. Like, yes, you can fully understand, like, there's a terrible situation going on right now, but also this is pretty funny. It just is. Next up, A. Clinton 14, horseradish. Oh, on the omelet. There you go. What do you think about college studs such as Case Keenum and J.T. Barrett, the fourth, never really making it in the NFL? I think you see that all the time. You do see that where a quarterback puts up massive Lulu stats in college football, and then it just doesn't translate to the NFL. Sports reference, all-time single season passing leaders. Right, so you look at Timmy Chang in Hawaii, even though Timmy Chang never got a fair shot because they're afraid about Asian quarterback. But you look at some of the air raid quarterbacks, Texas Tech notably. You look at David Klingler back in the day coming out of Houston. Same thing with Andre Ware, where a bajillion. You could say Ty Detmer in there, even though Detmer hung around as a decent backup. No, I don't want NFL. I want college football. Passing yards. Oh, there we go. All right, so just this hollowed list of all-time leading stat stuffers. So you got B.J. Simmons, Texas Tech, Graham Harrell, Texas Tech, Joe Burrow, LSU. We'll see if Burrow actually pans out, but different modern era. Next up is Keenum, Anthony Gordon, the aforementioned Anthony Gordon. He was a UDFA or 7th-round pick, whatever. Ty Detmer, Klingler. Derek Carr, how'd that one work out? Paul Smith, who the F is Paul Smith coming out of Tulsa? Brandon Doty out of Western Kentucky, go Hilltoppers. Patrick Mahomes, that one worked out. Yeah, Texas Tech worked out. Bryant, Monez, Keenum, Kingsbury. Although Cliff won a Super Bowl ring with the 0-1 Patriots, I believe, because he was Brady's backup, which is funny. Matt Johnson, Tim Rattay, Mason Rudolph, that jabroni, David Carr, Haskins, Doty again, Gardner Minshew. Woo! Actually, maybe Minshew will work out. I don't really know. Shane Carden, Brandon Whedon, Bradford. Yeah, Bradford one definitely didn't work out. Yeah, not so much. Yeah. But yeah, there's just some about sometimes the passing offenses and systems in college are you do scheme up wide open receivers. It is a lot of bubble screens. It is a lot of padded stats. And in the NFL, the footwork has to be on point. Accuracy has to be on point. You have to throw in rhythm. A lot of the West Coast concepts they aren't exactly introduced in college, so it is a steep learning curve. Some do it better than most, but yeah, you do have to just bet on traits as opposed to just blank production because it doesn't always translate. Aaron Knoll, my go-to when I'm feeling motivated to cut and prepare all the ingredients is cheese, spinach, chives, onions, and peppers. Just getting after it. Chase Engelke. I once had a chili cheese omelet with crispy hash browns at a cafe. I expected it to be awful, but it was amazing. How would you expect it to be awful? I mean, you got chili and cheese on an omelet with crispy hash browns. Like, how did you be like, I ordered this thing that I think is going to be awful. Wait, did someone else order it for you, or did you order it? Be like, I'm going to order this, and I think it's going to be bad, but it's going to be good because all the elements are good. All right. Yeah, get out of here. Husgamer 15. If Zimmer didn't win that playoff game and the Cowgirls traded a first, we could have had CeeDee Lamb. Who would you have drafted with the 17th overall pick? That's a good question. Probably CeeDee. Wiki 2020. But, yeah, during the draft, there's this weird vibe about Vikings fans just clamoring for trading up for CeeDee Lamb, where I like CeeDee Lamb. I probably would have taken him at 17 overall, but there was a reason why Ruggs and Judy went before him. And CeeDee Lamb, I think he's an immensely talented player. I do have my doubts if he's going to be in the tier of a Dez Bryant or a Nuke Hopkins in terms of wide receivers who can't really get separation, but are big physical and good hands. All right, so all right, see 17. Damon Arnett, no, not so much. Given my druthers, I probably would have taken Rieger. I really would have. Over CD Lamb. But we'll see how that shakes out. I feel like the Rieger Justin Jefferson thing is going to be a point of contention for years to come, especially amongst Eagles fans, since they had their choice. Next up is meat sauce. I don't think that's the real meat sauce. Do you ever spend time golfing, aka hanging out with the bros, knocking back beers, talking about man stuff? I do golf every now and then. I maybe golf like once every other year. That's about it. But just getting out there, hacking, duffing. Actually, my swing is actually pretty good for like never golfing, like never going to the range, never going to the Top Golf, anything like that. But my drive is always bad. I'm okay with irons in the fairway whenever I am in the fairway. I'm an okay putter. That's really about it. So like short and medium game, I'm fine. But I know my handicap when I was actually playing like back in the day, maybe 10 or 12. So, not terrible, not good by any stretch, but somewhere in there. Ethan Moon, Andy does wants a knock back for a look with the ball. Yeah, I will say that golf isn't necessarily a sport, and I will die on this hill. Golf is an activity. Like anything that you're better at after 4 beers, that's not a sport. That's an activity. Like golf is basically closer to darts than it is to an actual sport. It really is. But that doesn't mean it isn't fun. That doesn't mean that it isn't competitive or there's an element of skill involved. There certainly is. But yeah, just getting out, having some cigars, socially distancing, especially socially distancing your ball from the fairway. Yeah. Also, so we were at a bachelor party and we were deep in Wisconsin. Yeah. And we were golfing, and around like the 3rd hole, all of a sudden, like this baby little black bear just comes trotting out. Now, black bears in the scheme of bears are probably the one that you would want to come across. Probably not a brown bear, certainly not a grizzly bear, but also, I mean, that's like saying, which way would you rather die, drowning or burning? Like they're both terrible, right? So we see this baby black bear just trot in front of our carts, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Where's Mama? Where's Mama?" Fortunately, Mama didn't show up, so that makes me feel bad about the baby bear. Like maybe he's on his own. Kind of sad. Anyways, Gary Odman. Who would you rather have as your safety in 2020? Not long-term Harrison Smith. Not long-term. Harrison Smith or Jamal Adams, and you keep saying Gary Odman, it's Gavin. Oh, so I see G Odman, and right away I think Gary Oldman. Yeah, so yeah, we do have like pet nicknames of me mispronouncing names. It's okay. It's okay, Gary. For one season, I would still take Harrison, but long-term I would take Jamal Adams just because of the age difference. Housegamer 15. Andy, have you ever had a concussion? If so, what was the cause and how did you deal with it? I'm pretty sure I've had at least 3 major concussions. So 2 of them are from football, from high school football. Back in the day. So the first one, it was more confusing. And the first one was probably the worst, where migraines or the equivalent of migraines for like 3 days, sensitivity to light. I had to sleep with I had to put a piece of electrical tape over my phone because like the charging light was too much. Yeah, the Nokia brick back in the day. Second one was in football as well. Then the third one was in a car accident 3 or 4 years ago, somewhere in there. But yeah, they're not great. They're not ideal. Billy Long, I just love omelets. Stay safe up there, brother. Thank you. Let's see here. Live chat, let us know where you're watching from. Give a couple of shout outs there. Heart you guys. Next up is Cole Banham. Who's your favorite Vikings running back out of these 3? Leroy Horde, Mo Williams, or Mewelde Moore? Man, that's tough. So Mo Williams, the pride of Kentucky, was a great third down back for a number of years. Also, he was the recipient of the Randy Moss, throwing back right before halftime bomb from Dante against the Broncos at the Dome. Mewelde Moore, Rawelde Moore is great as well. Also, like the cornrows though, nah, you look good. They're always tight. I was like that. Leroy Horde though, Leroy was the epitome of the cliche. If you need 2 yards, I'll get you 3. If you need 4 yards, I'll get you 3. It was just like a road grader, just like meat and potatoes running back. I would say Mo Williams, just because of that single play. It's really close up. Griffin Creer. Would you rather have Everson or Jadeveon? At the same price, Jadeveon. With price factored in. So Clowney still trying to get that 16, 17 million a year. Everson probably lucky if he gets 7 or 8 at this point. So I'll take Everson all day. Next up is Gary Oldman. Can Madison replace Cook in a few years if he develops right? Absolutely. Andy's evil twin. They say when a national tragedy happens, a sport team ends up winning the championship, i.e. Katrina. With the Saints, Harvey, and the Astros, now it will be the Vikings' turn. Man, that's... Nah. I mean, well, it's not like the Cowboys won anything. See, Ferguson is a Missouri, LA riots, then the teams moved. Jason, mushrooms, cheese, green chili. Can Anthony Barr play defensive end in 4-3? Absolutely, because he did in college, and he was great at it. He racked up like 22 sacks over 2 seasons as a traditional hand-in-the-dirt defensive end. So when the Vikings drafted him number 9 in 2014, everyone thought that, hey, that's going to be his role. It's like, oh, but why'd you pick a D end when you got Everson and B-Rob still in their prime? And then all of a sudden, Anthony Barr is going to be a linebacker? Okay, what? It does seem like just for the sake of Zimmer proving that he's smart, that he really just wasted the best attributes of Anthony Barr, just trying to shoehorn him in. And yes, 4-time Pro Bowler, respect. A couple of shout-outs. Let's see here. So, Meat Sauce watching from K-Fan Studios. Don't believe that. Zach Ballas back at work today from NoCo. What is up? Eglin14, Sri Lanka. Shout out across the world, I guess. Mr. Popo Skull from SoCal. Richard Sabalinik, Skull from Houston. What up? Pat Casey. Will from North Carolina. Now, is he saying that his name is Will Pat from North Carolina or Williamton, North Carolina? And then just got spell checked. Purple Rain, Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin, the ginseng capital. Is that true? It's weird. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming along on the live stream. You guys are the best. Next up, David Bryant. Who is the best fullback ever? And then his ingredients for omelet: bacon, chives, cheese, peppers, and small bits of ham. Yeah, chives, super underrated. I will say, like, chives and shallots are probably the 2 most underrated ingredients for sure. Best fullback ever. So does Jim Brown count? Because he technically played fullback. Also, at Syracuse, one of his backfield mates, I believe, was Tom Coughlin. Let's look that up. Make sure I'm not lying. Tom Coughlin, Jim Brown. College. Attended Syracuse on scholarship. Coughlin was teammates with Larry Zonka and Floyd Little. Oh, I'm lying. I'm absolutely lying. It happens. But yeah, does Jim Brown count? Well, the easy answer is Jim Kleinsasser. Lorenzo Neal is certainly up there. Like when LT was just completely ripping things up with the Chargers back in the day, for sure. Jim Taylor, I guess, respect. Bronco Nagurski, I guess, respect. Well, Bronco played at the University of Minnesota, so that happened. Riggins and Zonka. Yeah, Riggins and Zonka sort of fill into like the Jim Brown role where they were a primary ball carrier as well as being a fullback. Tom Rathman was pretty damn legit. Daryl Johnston, the Moose, respect. Larry Centers. Larry Centers is a bad man. Definitely not John Kuhn. Larry Centers was a freaking dude. Like, he had a 1,000-yard season. No, he didn't have 1,000. He had a 100-catch season. That was a milestone. Almost had a 1,000-yard season. As a fullback, I mean, just redonkulousness. By the way, since Larry Centers was a fullback, how was he not voted to the Pro Bowl every single year? Like, that's the easiest way to become a Pro Bowler. Ask Kyle Juszczyk. Yeah. But damn, 101 catches, 962 yards for a bad Arizona team in 1995. That's funny. So 4-12, Buddy Ryan. Dave Craig, the legendary Dave Craig. Stoney Case in that mix. Oh, Garrison Hurst was in there. All right, so Garrison Hurst was a running back. Larry Centers was the primary receiver. That's so funny. That's so funny. Wait, you had Rob Moore and Frank Sanders, and Larry Centers is still your number one receiving back or receiver on the team by far, especially in terms of number of receptions. Wow. Just speaks to how crappy your offensive line was. Defense. Did this team have Eric Swan? Yeah, Eric Swan. Eric Swan was a dude back in the day. Eric Swan, Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner coming over from the Eagles. Just trying to rekindle things with Buddy Ryan. Man. Oh, yeah. Also, does Mike Allstott count? Allstott was counted as a fullback, even though he was not. He was a tailback. Yeah. Oh, Mike Tolbert, just because. Jerome Felton for sure. Vonta Leach, I think, is really underrated, especially on those Kubiak teams. Yeah. They count Roger Craig as a fullback? Nah. So, I guess long story short, I will say Jim Brown. Next up is Nick Doroff. Banana peppers. I read that completely wrong. Bacon, peppers, and hash browns. Agree there. Yeah, hash browns, like, you got to get your hash browns crispy, even though they are going to, once you're in the omelet, they are going to lose some of the crispiness, just because steam, whatever. Also, yeah, really underrated. Yeah, get yourself a country omelet. What are some of the best names you've heard in the history of the NFL, as well as some of the best names currently? Well, one of my favorite names, and also someone who's on the all-name, no-game team, is Nico Thorpe. I mean, Nico is just a great name, plus Thorpe, synonymous with football. NFL all-time name list. Tim Biakabatuka, certainly up there. List of NFL best names. Lil Jordan Humphrey. All right, so open Bleacher Report. Sure, why not? Patrick Pass. Yeah, he was a fullback. Joey Goodspeed played for 5. Apparently, he was on the Vikings. There you go. Quentin Jammer. That was a good one, especially for a cornerback. I mean, come on. AJ Hawk. After yourself. Bruce Armstrong, for sure. Junior Seau, R.I.P. Will Shields. Mike Quick. Or, yeah, Brian Quick of the Jets, who was not quick. That's ironic. Lynn Swan. Yeah, forget about Lynn Swan. Max Strong. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Let's open up this Reddit list. DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Respect. Whitney Merciless. Jim Bob Cooter. Yeah. No. All right, here's going. Lucky Whitehead. Wendell Smallwood. Oh, boy. Prince of Mukamara. Golden Tate. Oh, Willie Beavers. I forgot about Willie Beavers. Like, honestly, probably the worst draft pick in Vikings franchise history. Yeah, I said it. Mike Tyson. Philip Supernaw, the tight end from Titans. Yeah, he's up there too. Yeah. Next up. Lorenzo Neal for sure. If there's a place that I would move to, there's a couple of cities. Austin, Texas, Waco, Texas, Nashville, we've talked about a lot. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Love it. All right, next up is Husgamer 15. Are the Vikings interested in Tyrod Taylor? I mean, sure, as a backup, if it doesn't cost a lot, sure. If they are just sweeping the decks for make way for Justin Herbert, I would be down with it. Wiki Chargers roster, because who else do they have? Easton Stick, the pride of NDSU. All right, so they would roll into the season with Justin Herbert and Easton Stick? Probably not. But say they did a Yankee swap, Tyrod Taylor for Sean Mannion and like a 6th-round pick. I'd be down with that. Let's go. Next up, A14. Greg Jennings and TB5 had a rapport. For sure. I just never liked Greg Jennings. It didn't. Like, the contract was big. Also, I'm more pissed off about so after the Vikings cut him, Greg Jennings decided to do this thing on the last day of March. It's like, I got a big announcement. The done deal, like he's talking about free agency. Has there ever been a professional athlete break the news of his signing on social media before? I don't think so. Attention, national media outlets and insiders, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone stayed up till midnight, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like, they didn't know that that's midnight in Central Time. Please. And then he posts a link to Score, which I don't even think is up anymore. Brett Favre and a bunch of people got sued over it. Yeah, it's supposed to be this social media site for athletes. And it's like, all it is like, April Fools. F you, Greg Jennings. Like, it's not even a rational dislike. I just really dislike Greg Jennings because of that. And I still hold on to that to this day. Because that was like, what, 5 years ago? Yeah, still. Disdain. Ty Smith, who are your top 5 Vikings running backs of all time? So Adrian, Chuck Foreman, Robert Smith, Ontario Smith. You have to go old school, like Bill Brown. Like, I wasn't around. I obviously wasn't around for Bill Brown, but you got to respect the stats. Let's look it up. PFR all-time Vikings rushing list. PFR is great. All right, so we got Adrian, Robert Smith, Chuck Foreman, Bill and Ted Brown. Excellent. Dave, Super Dave Osborne. Oh, Darren Nelson. God, Darren Nelson was really good. This is how embarrassing this is. Michael Bennett is number 9 on the Vikings all-time rushing list. For shame. For shame. Terry Allen was a bad mofo the couple years that he was here with the Vikings. He was just really good. Herschel Walker, no. Yeah. Also, here's what's the most tilting thing about Herschel Walker. 2 items, right? So, number 1, after the Vikings traded heaven and earth for him, he does not have a 1,000-yard season. The first season that he's away from the Vikings, in 1992, he has a 1,000-yard season with the Eagles. So, A, F the Eagles. Also, B, so the Vikings traded all that for a 27-year-old running back. Great. And also, here's the coup de grace. He returned to the Cowboys. So, he went back to the Cowboys 7 years after they traded him and then, played for 2 years. Just great. It's great. Everything about that sucks. Yeah. Can you do a quick review of the 2010 NFL draft? Any changes? Okay. 2010 NFL. So that was the Chris Cook draft, the Toby Gerhart draft, I believe. Let's see. All right, so the Vikings taking Chris Cook. Obviously, you do that one a little bit different. So Chris Cook, Toby Gerhart, Everson, that it turned out pretty good for a 4th round pick. Chris DeGear, no. Nate Triplett, no. Joe Webb. If they would have left Joe Webb at quarterback or wide receiver, it could have worked out. Mickey Schuler Jr. from Penn State, no. Ryan D'Ampiero, no. Sherrills, oh, there we go. All right, so let's recap. So the top of the draft. Oh, Sling and Sam Bradford at 1. Bradford was still the number 1 overall pick after basically missing his final year at Oklahoma with injury, which was a sign of things to come. And Ndamukong Suh, 2. Coy, like all these guys are either Pro Bowlers or borderline Hall of Famers, which is great. Actually, I think Barry might miss being a Hall of Famer just because of injury and, of course, his illness just robbed him of so much playing time. I think Suh maybe could make the Hall of Fame. Maybe McCoy. That's about it. Earl Thomas is going to be a Hall of Famer. Thomas the Train. Man, JP. There's a lot of talented players in here. Although a lot of big misses. So imagine, so you're the Raiders just going with Rolando McClain there. Or Tyson Alualu. Anthony Davis, not so much. Brandon Graham was actually okay for a long stretch of time. Just the Hall of really good. Was never, a Pro Bowler. Ryan Matthews, oh my gosh. Derek Morgan was actually okay, just never a Pro Bowler. Mike Iupati burned bright really fast and burnt out really quickly. That's rough. All right, but look specifically at the Vikings picks, and then we can just be like, who do we take instead? All right, so at 34, Gronk. That was pretty easy. Toby Gerhart, Sean Lee. All right, so you got your tight end and your linebacker, Chris Everson, sticking. Chris DeGear and Nate Triplett. Probably not going to take Greg Hardy. I guess Antonio Brown before he went insane. Joe Webb, sticking. Micah Schuler Jr. Mark Mariani make it as a special teamer? He had to have, right? That makes sense. I guess, Jamarcus Webb wasn't terrible for a decent stretch of time, but then he was really bad. I guess Kirk Coleman will just like kickstart it quicker rather than later. There you go. Next up is Tristan. How pissed do you think Diggs will be if we win the Super Bowl this year, the season after he left? I don't think he'll care. I don't think he will. Especially if the Bills give him a new deal. I don't think he'll care. Joe Medina. Oh, he'll care in that it should have been him in the Super Bowl. It should have been him under the bright lights. It should have been him making a big catch in the Super Bowl. But other than that, I don't think he'll care. Bryce Kettling, Skull from Missoula, Montana. What is up? Joe Medina, what do you think Harrison's next contract extension will look like? Also, do you think he'll retire as a Viking? We've said this a bunch. Harrison's never struck me as a dude who's in it for the money, or he's never been about grabbing every single last nickel. Like even his extension didn't even make him the highest paid safety in the league when it easily could have, right? So he does seem to me a guy who's taking care of his money, who doesn't really care about the extravagance. And I think the Vikings do owe him an extension. Also, his extension, I don't think will make him the highest paid safety in the league again. I really don't. I think it will be in the $11, $12 million a year range. Tack on 2 to 3 years on his current deal. That's about it. Will he retire as a Viking? I hope he does. Skull Nation. What player comparison does Justin Jefferson remind you of, in your opinion? He reminds me of Devontae Adams or Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen for sure. I'm trying to think of like a good one-on-one comparison, like maybe Marvin Jones outside of like the deep ball skills that haven't been refined yet. It's tough. Yeah, I think Keenan Allen is probably the closest one. Aaron Rodgers, BFF, and Lover. What's your next team you see relocating in the NFL? That's a good question. Well, the Chargers moving back to San Diego. That could be in the works. Well, which teams have old stadiums? NFL stadium age. I don't know. All right. NFL stadiums oldest, newest, 2017. This is close enough. All right, so the Rams, they got a new one. Raiders, new ones. Chiefs, they're not moving. I mean, the Bills are always being threatened to move. Like the Pagulas are honestly terrible owners. They are. They should have sold the team to John Bon Jovi. Maybe the Bills, except maybe they'll just move to Canada. Who knows? Saints ain't moving. Dolphins are not moving. Jaguars to London probably makes the most sense. Wow, the Panthers are up there with the oldest stadium. They were an expansion team. Man. Washington's not moving. They're not moving. Titans not moving. Oh, maybe the Titans will move. New ownership. I mean, their stadium is 21 years old. Oh, now. I guess maybe. Yeah. But probably the Jaguars. Next up. Cyberbully123. I'll be open to the idea of Aldrick Robinson back on a league minimum deal. He could go and get it downfield if we needed it. Yeah, I advocated for that last year too. Stanley Moros. Gary Oldman. If Cousins struggles and we sign Cam, could he be the new face of the franchise if he performs well? Yeah, absolutely. There's just something about Cam has this personality and magnetism that if he really could come in a la Randall Cunningham in 97, 98 and just retake over, do things again. Absolutely. Why not? Stanley Moros. Want to bet Elflein eventually gets cut or leaves after rookie deal expires and then goes to the Seahawks or Panthers. Seems to be where all of our cuts, blah, 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 and blossoms into an all-pro. Odds, I'll give you even money that no. Meat sauce. People keep asking about JJ and where he's going to play. What they should be wondering is what IR list he'll be on for most of the year. JJ Watt, his body's starting to fall apart. PFR JJ, where he's still a rock solid defensive interior player, but he just is not the peak JJ Watt that he used to be, right? So I feel like his 2018, even that all pro, 16 sacks, respect. But you look at, he hasn't been able to finish out 3 of the past 4 years. He is on the wrong side of 30. And I just don't think you're going to see like the peak JJ Watt that you saw from 2012 to 2015, when this may be the most dominant 4-year stretch a defensive player's ever had. Like, he's certainly up there, where he put together 69 sacks over 4 years. Nice. Just absolute sheer dominance. Like, he would straight up take over games. Had 2 returns for touchdowns. Yeah. Next up, Bullford Skull. Andy, I'd like to apologize for talking about injury yesterday. It should have been Kirky was abducted by aliens. Yeah, get that right. Here's my question for today's live Q&A. Who is the trap game of the year? Can't say Mustache Mania because everyone. All right, so PFR 2020 Vikings. All right, so can't say the Jaguars. I don't want this one. Could we just have games and schedule? That do it. All right, so trap game. It's maybe the Lions. There isn't really any let your foot off the gas type. They're either division or against teams that are good. So if you can't say the Jaguars, I guess maybe if the Lions or Bears go off to a slow start, then you just don't take them seriously, except their division, so you should. I don't know, maybe the Falcons if they have a slow start. That's about it. Next up, meat sauce. If you had to booze every single day or you would die, which alcoholic beverages would be your death sentence? Denver omelets are the bee's knees. Agree on the omelets. I guess I'd say beer. Beer's a pretty easy one. Maybe like good tequila or good whiskey. Yeah, probably beer. Can you just say beer, then you can have a different beer every single day? Because why not? Ike09Y. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank Pink Floyd because it's my favorite band? I would say culture impact-wise, I would say a 9. Personally, I don't know, 5. Like, beyond The Wall, Money, Wish You Were Here, I don't really listen to a lot of Pink Floyd. Those are good songs. And respect the work, respect their cultural impact for sure. But just for me personally, 5. The perfect omelet for me is sausage, bacon, mushrooms, peppers, diced potatoes, and cheese. Yeah, we got to stop doing this before lunch, man, because that's just good. Jamie Cuker, mushrooms, steak, green peppers, onions, bacon, salsa, sour cream, cheese. It's a hell of an omelet. I'm in. Tristan, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Tristan, if you say if the Vikings say they're using their 5 best guys on the O-line, I highly doubt Pat Elflein will be there. The only way I can see it is if he has a phenomenal preseason or the Vikings just lied to us about the 5 best guys. I think it's more the latter. I think they are just going to straight up lie about it because this is what they do. Yeah. If you want the best 5 guys, probably would be O'Neal, Bradbury, Udo, Cleveland, and Reef. Those would probably be the 5 best guys. And yeah, I did say Oli Udo over Drew Samia. What? Tristan, I think the reason that the Vikings haven't re-signed Zimmer is that they want to see how the team does the season. Adam Thielen was asked that question in an interview, and he said they'd have to wait and see. Also, a nickname for Stefanski and Baker Mayfield should be Stefancy Baker. It's a little bit wordy. Yeah. But maybe they will play the wait and see game. Maybe they will see if Zimmer can turn the defense around. If promoting his son to co-regional defensive coordinator is a good plan or not. Plus, they still have just Gary Kubiak just hanging out. It's like, hey, start out 1-5 yet? Hey, I'm Gary Kubiak. Hey. Next up is Aaron Rodgers' BFF and lover. Forget the omelet. Give me a carne asada burrito with guacamole and pico de gallo and a menudo and a shrimp cocktail. Well, okay. Yeah, but that's not the question. It's like, what's your favorite kind of beer? Ribeye. Jerome 15. Are the Vikings just no? Well, maybe. I would do it. Head coach, is it crazy to say that Kareem Hunt will have a big year? A year removed from his incident, people aren't focused on him anymore. Yeah, so obviously what Kareem Hunt did was bad. It was exacerbated by it being on video. Frankly, if there wasn't video, I don't think the Chiefs cut him. I mean, because the Chiefs have stuck by Tyreek Hill through multiple incidents or allegations of incidents. But yeah, Kareem Hunt's still a really good player, and I think he's in a good spot in Cleveland. I think he's paired up with one of the great young backs in the league in Nick Chubb. No, I do not think that their duo is better than Dalvin and Madison. And Stefanski, as you've seen, Stefanski will incorporate multiple running backs. He will get the ball out to them. You look at Dalvin's reception numbers last year. That's Kareem Hunt's bag. So I think that he will be used properly in Cleveland. Man, I think people move on. People moved on from Joe Mixon. And they're like Joe Mixon just completely just cold cocking that chick on video, right? And then the whole, yeah. God, that was fun. So, yeah, the Sooners fan base, like, she pushed him first. Spare me. No. Mr. Popo, which ex-Vikings coach is winning the big game? Tony Bryan. All right, so Tony Dungy, Brian Billick, Mike Tomlin. Who's the next ex-Vikings coach to win it? Stefanski. Oh, well, you got to count Pete Carroll in there, too. He was a DB coach for the Vikings back in the day. I guess probably Stefanski, because who else recently left? Norv's not winning anything. George Edwards probably ain't winning anything ever. Yeah. Bawa Taba. What type of dog do you have? So we have a long-haired Chihuahua named Sammy. He's a pain in the rear, but he's cute as hell, and I love him. And the dog that just passed was he was a mix between a Min Pin and a wired-haired fox terrier. It sounds weird. Min Pin wired-haired fox terrier. Or no. These are close. Bittersweet memory. Oh. Burn call manager and Min Pin. Well, he's a fox terrier for sure. Oh. Oh my God. All right, so that's pretty damn close. If you add in a little bit more black and brown spotting, that looks exactly like my guy. I miss him. All right, next up, Stan Lamarr. I knew the Bucks looked great on paper, but every year there's a mess 7-9, 8-8 team that seems to load up, going all in for a year and expecting to sky high. All the national jabronis gardening Super Bowl nods this offseason, but last blah 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 blah. But it's Tom Brady. And it's Bruce Arians. And it's Tom Brady. Right? I do think this is different than Cleveland last year. I think they were massively overhyped. Also, you look at the Eagles and the Dream Team years. I think they were massively overhyped. But it's Tom Brady. That is all. But they are in probably the toughest division in football, so we'll see. Sam Morris. Do you think that Kirk is going to ever bring us the promised land? And be honest, no. That hurts. That hurts to say. Preacher Paul, hauling it for all y'all. Anything but bell peppers. You're killing me with the food chat. Best omelet at a place in Truckee, California, called the Squeeze Inn. I get it. 101 combinations or pick your own. 5 egg omelet also. Woo. Get after it. Love it. Sam Maros. Do you think J.J. Watt is going to the Bears? That'd be random. I'd also really hate to see it. But also, I could see Bill O'Brien just giving J.J. Watt away for like a 5th-round pick. And also, if he's going to do that, why not trade for J.J. Watt? They can make it work. Hashtag happens a meth. What are some of the worst NFL teams in NFL history? Example, 2017 Browns. Well, the Browns, the '08 Lions. Yeah. Records. Those early Tampa Bay teams that but they lost like 32 straight games or something like that. Worst season records in NFL history. List of NFL records team. No, worst seasons. All right, so list of winless seasons. You have to go by this, I guess. All right, so the Browns 2017, yes, Hugh. Plus they went 1-31 over 2 years of Hugh. Lions 0-16. Baltimore Colts, they didn't win a game because of the strike. 76 Bucks 0-14. That's rough. The debut Cowboys. I believe Tom Landry was coaching them the first season, wasn't he? Yeah, Tom Landry. It's amazing. Tom Landry coached for almost 30 years as head coach of the Cowboys before he was forced out by Jerry Jones. Brooklyn Tigers. Yeah, they know what they did. Man, that's rough. That's rough. I also love going through and looking at some of these old school like proto NFL names. The Duluth Kellys. Duluth Kellys. Oh, they played at Athletic Park. That's so original. I guarantee you, like this is just like a dirt field. All right, Athletic Park Duluth. Beautiful. That's like a nice like Parks and Rec place where you play slow pitch softball on the weekends. Duluth Park. Oh, that's new. It's kind of nice. There we go. Next up is Stan Lamarr. I remember the Blizzard game against Baltimore a few years back. Yes, I do. Again, that was the Genesis PFR 2014 Vikings Ravens. That was 2013. That was the first episode of the podcast. Because after this game, I just wanted to bitch about Leslie Frazier. Just because, again, it was 7-6 heading into the fourth quarter, and then it ended up being 29-26 final score, which is just great. And also, this game had everything. You had Blair Walsh. You had Jerome Simpson catching a touchdown pass. You had Toby Gerhart rumbling 41 yards. You had Cordero Patterson catching a 79-yard screen pass from Castle, taken to the hizzy. It was just so insane, so stupid. Picking up Joe Flacco 3 times, but letting him march 80 yards in 45 seconds with no timeouts to throw a touchdown to someone called Marlon Brown. It's great. So, yes, I do that. I remember that. Brian Killinan in the name of a leftover brisket from the Traeger and mozzarella cheese. It's a good combo. Jeff Gladney, El Jefe, will tie for most interceptions next season with 6. JJ and Thielen will go for 1K apiece. Friday Vibe Skull. What's your favorite meat to smoke? Mine is beef short ribs. Short ribs certainly up there because, like I said yesterday, they're really easy. You just set it and forget it. Brisket certainly up there. I will say pork ribs. I mean, it just really is a special place in your heart. I think that's the masses definition of barbecue, and also their degree of difficulty. A lot of people screw them up. They are a little bit touchy. They are a little bit whatever. But if you make a really good rack of ribs, I mean, come on, it's getting after it. That being said, I'll say brisket. Andy's Evil Twin. Someone said the Vikings are interested in Cap. If that's the case, it's because of the situation. That would be terrible because Cap is garbage. I wouldn't say Cap is garbage. I will say that he probably is now since he's been out of football for a number of years, probably not of his own volition. He was a Super Bowl participating quarterback. Although, his Kaepernick's final seasons, not great. PFR Kaepernick. Although I will say that I never really believed that Kaepernick really wanted to get back into the league. Actually, I think that he benefited greatly from being a martyr, for being a symbol of the cause. But people went to the 16-4 final season. But I mean, remember he had issues with his shoulder. He had issues with arm strength as well. He was never the most accurate quarterback in the league. He was turning 30, which inhibited some of his mobility. But I do believe that if Kaepernick truly wanted another shot in the NFL, he should have gotten it, but he didn't. And also, I don't know if he did. Yeah, but also the Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings signing Kaepernick now, with everything that's going on, I mean that's just pouring more kerosene on the fire. But also, I would take Kaepernick over Sean Mannion. Yeah. Tristan, do you think the Vikings would do it better than last year for everyone to keep their jobs this season? Like an NFC Championship run or Super Bowl run? Spielman, no. Cousins, no. Zimmer, yes. Stanley Morrow's only omelet I ever order is bacon, mushroom, and cheese omelet. That's not the nuts. I agree. Also, I've heard you say multiple times you love trout. Simple cooking, great taste. I agree. Whole fish, lightly floured, salt and pepper, quick fire up and then flip in the pan. Toss the grill, some scalloped potatoes, death row meal right there. Yeah, there's just something about if you catch fresh trout or if you're lake fishing's like sunfish or walleye or pike, it's just really good. And like I said, the simpler the better. Like he tosses his in flour, respect that there. But you also don't need to go like the full shore lunch. You don't need to deep fry or shallow fry the fish. I mean, because I actually feel like that takes away from the fish. Because then it's like, oh, I'm in it for the batter, or just like coating it with like a really heavy tartar sauce. No, just like if you got a beautiful trout, if you got a beautiful walleye, just try and cook it as whole as possible. Or also leave the skin on fillet, especially with the walleye. Just crisp that up in a pan. If you're camping, cast iron. God, that's a bitch to carry though. Yeah, just butter, salt, pepper, lemon. Just go out and win. There you go. Speaking of which, I'm starving. I'm hungry. We're going to get out of here. Jeromes, thank you very much for coming along. You guys are the best. A lot going on. If you guys are in Minnesota, stay safe. Keep hope alive. It's a lot going on. Yeah. But we'll be back on Monday, every single weekday, 11 a.m. Central Time. An hour-ish, but really more like 52 minutes of Vikings content, Q&A. It's all good stuff. Bottom of my heart. Thank you guys. BrandMN.com. Promo code RealJerome. 50% off your order. Hit that up. Skull. Production value. Have a great